What's going on, guys? ChillisFM here, taking a look at what will most likely be my go-to team for Halloween Cup this time around. This team worked incredibly well for me. I'm talking about a 5-0, a 4-1, and a 2-3, but honestly, Niantic robbed me in two of those games. One game I started like 5 turns too late, so whatever, I don't really count that set. Worked really well for me, helped me climb out of the pits. I was in the 2400s, now in the upper 2500s thanks to this team. And it's a very simple team to play. You just don't swap out of the lead in most cases. There's a few cases, and we'll cover those in this video. But most of the time, you're just going to be fighting for Switch with Shadow Caesar. And if you have to go down 2 shields, that's perfectly fine because you have a very bulky and very strong core in the back. Toxapex going to handle all the fairy types, and Guzzlord really just going to handle everything else. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just prove it. It's an absolute meta eater once those fairies are gone. So let's go ahead and head over to PV Poke. Take a look at Guzzlord. First of all, you want Dragon Tail, Brutal Swing, and Dragon Claw 100% in this meta. You don't need Sludge Wave, right? We're dodging the fairies. We already talked about that. So with this moveset, 13 and 13. Not that good. In fact, 434, anything below 500 is kind of a bad battle rating. But let's go ahead and take the fairies out of the Halloween Cup, assuming that we're going to actually avoid them. So taking out Azumarill, taking out Carbink, taking out, let's see, Guzzlord's perfectly fine. Mawile is another fairy type. We have 2 Alolan Ninetales. Of course, you're never going to see both of those on the same team. We have Galarian Wheezing, and we have Wigglytuff. So a lot of fairies listed here as top meta, and really you don't even see that many of them, but the goal is to avoid them with this team anyways, to fight for Switch and then get alignment. Now, the wins go up to 13 and 6. That's a 68.4, just off 69%. Could have been 69%, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, really good win rate right here, 534 battle rating. So there's a chance that Guzzlord can just sweep in the back, or at least it's going to be able to win against the one thing that you needed to win, and then Toxapex can handle the rest. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these battles. Go ahead and leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and let me know what you're running in the comments down below. Alright, into the first one. We're up against a Clodsire lead, one of the most common Pokemon in this meta, and of course it's running Poison Sting, which is going to be double resisted into our Shadow Caesar. Now, my Shadow Caesar IVs are absolutely horrible. I promise you, yours is better than mine. It's just what I have. You know, it's not on purpose. It's not even for the shiny flex. It's just what I have. We're going to go ahead and shield up in case they do want to try to Earthquake, or even Stone Edge would do a ton of damage. So we are going to invest the shield. It is the Sludge Bomb bait, but that's perfectly fine. We can CMP here with the Night Slash. They are forced to throw up their first shield. It's the Earthquake now, and look at this. We're going to be able to Bullet Punch all the way down before they get to another move. We have a ton of HP left on our Caesar and a ton of energy. So they come in with a Malamar. They make a really nice peekaboo catch here. I go for the Night Slash to catch it on a Greninja. It still does a ton of damage. And now we can just come in with Toxapex and probably just farm this all the way down, leave with a ton of energy to help us against that Malamar. Night Slash going to be coming through, and they get the boost off the first one, and that could actually give them a little bit of play here. They do go for the Hydro Cannon because it does hit slightly harder, and they're going to go for a second Hydro Cannon after they shield up this Brine. So I'm forced to throw this Brine because otherwise they make another Hydro Cannon and it basically takes this out. And they decide to shield, that way they can get through our Toxapex. So we do survive with 1 HP. They snipe with the Malamar, but I'm perfectly fine here. They're going to have to throw superpowers to take out my Guzzlord. I'm thinking they're going to have to throw 2 superpowers, but my opponent actually has really good matchup knowledge here. I go for the Brutal Swing. It is the more energy efficient move, and they're going to go for the Foul Play first and then the superpower, because that's enough to take out, and then they are only debuffing themselves once. Still, it's really not going to matter. They don't have enough energy to make it to another superpower. I'm just going to get the Bullet Punch down, and all they have left is the Greninja, which we can easily take out with either move, and that's going to be GG's. Well played to my opponent. Alright, water types. Water types are generally the only things you're going to be swapping out of. There are 2 exceptions, and that's going to be Azumarill and Jellicent. I haven't really seen any other typing that I really feel like I need to swap out of. It's just the water types, purely the water types. Even something like a Mandibuzz, I'd be okay with staying in because you can just start boosting your damage with Trailblaze and potentially win that in the 2 shield. Now my opponent does end up swapping out, trying to catch a Night Slash, but they bring out a, oh, I froze. Okay, they bring out a Skuntank, which I'm just walling the energy or the fast move pressure from. I'm going to go ahead and catch on my Guzzlord. They do get the crunch debuff though, a 30% chance, and that's going to help them out quite a bit because they're going to be able to take out my Guzzlord. They do throw immediately there. Good play by them. I'm going to go ahead and just go for the Bullet Punch down, knowing that neither of my Pokemon are really good into Jellicent, especially if shields are down. Going to go for the next Night Slash here. They did come in with Dedenne here, so that's a little bit of a bait. And now going to go for the Trailblaze, thinking maybe I can make it to 2 Trailblazes, but you're going to see the Thunder Shocks are doing enough damage that really Night Slash is all I'm going to make it to. Still, this is going to be a boosted Night Slash, so I'm okay with applying that damage. This will be putting them into the yellow. Now, Toxapex can probably just farm down. Even if they have Parabolic Charge, which does hit a little bit harder than Discharge, it shouldn't be a big deal because we can tank 1 and we should still be outside of Shadow Ball range here. So we're going to go ahead and throw the Shadow Ball. We're going to no-shield this, knowing that's going to be doing less than the Discharge. We easily survive it. And yeah, we'll just throw the Sledge Wave here and we should be able to Poison Jab down the Dedenne. Yeah, Parabolic Charge does like 2 more damage. So they might have been able to farm down there. Maybe it would have been a tie. Maybe it would have been a tie if they had Parabolic Charge. But either ways, GG's, well played. Into the next one. Up against an Ariados. People make fun of me for how I say it. Ariados, I guess. Ariados. I like saying Ariados. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? We're going to wall the energy here. Going to build up to the back-to-back Night Slashes. Throw 1 before the CMP tie. In case they want to throw up a shield here, we'll be able to get the second Night Slash off. And they do throw up its shield. Now this won't KO, but my opponent does decide to invest the second shield regardless, and that's perfectly fine. We're happy to play the shield game. We want switch with this team. We want switch. So we're going to go ahead and shield up that lunge. After these bullet punches, I think the Night Slash will be enough to KO. My opponent thinks the same, so they swap out into a Clodsire. We're going to go ahead and just stay in here, build up some energy, and try to catch the Sludge Bomb. What I've seen, more are running Sludge Bomb than Stone Edge, but it's kind of a guessing game. So we do try to catch the Sludge Bomb. We are successful, but it does still put us close to Earthquake range. So I am going to go ahead and invest a shield, knowing that I don't want my Toxapex on this, especially not with this much HP. We would need 2 brines to KO, and the poison jabs from Toxapex do absolutely nothing into this. So we're going to shield that up, go for the Brutal Swing now. And I'm going to just fire off this next Brutal Swing immediately. I want this out of here. I know they have a lunge banked on their Ariados. So I'm going to be coming. I'm trying Ariados. So I'm going to go ahead and try for the catch here with my Caesar. But they actually come out with a Zoomero, and we're going to be able to get this Trailblaze off. So that was the really nice thing about staying in, taking that double resisted Poison Sting damage and building up energy on my Caesar. I make the Trailblaze, and it takes out half of this Zoomero. It probably wouldn't matter because we have a Toxapex, which just completely walls this. You notice there I do wait my switch clock in case I need to clear a debuff here. But it shouldn't really matter. I mean, they're going to go ahead and throw this second Trailblaze. I'm still going to be able to get the Poison Jab down, leave with a ton of energy. My opponent knows it's over. And that's going to be GG's. Well played. All right, into the next one. Definitely up against a Core Breaker. This was the only Charger Bug I saw. I think it's a kind of an interesting pick though, because I've seen a lot of teams that are double or triple weak to Electric. I did see quite a few more Pico. I think it's more Peko, right? I saw quite a few of those, but those were later in the day. These were my first 3 sets, so I'm not sure that we have any of those in these battles. Regardless, like we'd be doing neutral into the Morpeko with Boiler Punches, so we could just 2-shot through that as well. This one's a little bit more awkward though, because Guzzlord's going to take super effective damage from the X Scissors. Toxapex, of course, doesn't want to take any of these Vote Switches or Discharge. So I decided to come in with Guzzlord. I'm like, if they have an electric type lead, maybe they're double weak to Toxapex in the back. So I do get the nice farm down. They come in with a Frostlass. So we can go ahead and fire off this Brutal Swing to do a ton of damage if they decide not to shield it. They do shield it up. So now I'm thinking, okay, they got to be weak to Guzzlord in the back. I come in with my Toxapex and they're staying in. So now I'm like, okay, you know what? It's probably Greninja. It has to be Greninja, right? Weak to Toxapex and weak to Guzzlord. And I'm going to be overfarming here, letting them connect with this Shadow Ball. And then I'm going to be pausing to make sure that they do not catch the brine on their Greninja. I'm just confident at this point. It has to be Greninja, right? So going to go for the brine here. And now I could do 3 more poison jabs. They're 4 away from their next move. I decided to just do 2 in case my counts were wrong. I go for the brine. I should survive a Night Slash, but it's actually going to be a Primarina. And at this point, I'm thinking I'm just going to outpace to the Sludge Wave, but I was 1 short. And if I was paying attention, this is the easiest catch of my life. But instead, they get to connect with the Hydro Cannon, take out my Toxapex, and I have just thrown this game out the window. I don't have Sludge Wave, Sludge Bomb, whichever one it is. And they're just going to be able to take out my Guzzlord. So GG's well played to my opponent. Cool spice that they are bringing. They deserve the win more than I do, for sure. All right, into the next one. All right, so let's talk about the ones that you do not stay in. And that's going to be the water types. We got a couple of them to look at here. Glissapod are going to be the first one. They would be resisting the bullet punches. Water resist steel. And they would just be able to outpace. Not technically, right? We'd outpace to Night Slashes, but 1 Night Slash is not going to KO them. Whereas Liquidation would definitely KO my Scizor. So we do end up swapping out there. They come out with a Bubble Jellicent. Bubble is really interesting here. I guess it's for the dark types. Perhaps it gives you some winning shield scenarios against like a Drapion, because you probably survive 1 crunch, and then Bubbles plus Surf probably puts them in a farm down situation. So really interesting by my opponent, but they make a mistake here. They lose track of my counts, and I make it to this next brine, which means they either have to give up a shield or give up switch, and they decide to give up switch. So now I'm in a much better situation. This Glissapod does basically already have an X-Scissor ready to go, and I know it's going to hit hard. We saw how hard the X-Scissor from Charjabug hit. This is a even more attack-weighted Pokemon, and it's going to hit even harder. I do let this second one come through, knowing they're going to be able to outpace to 3 anyways, and now I'm going to be firing off this crunch, or rather Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing, not going to be quite enough to take out, but they do decide to throw up a shield anyways, and I decide to try to catch. They do throw immediately, and now I think I have a little bit of play depending on what they have in the back. Going to be a Clodsire. Now here's the interesting thing. This Clodsire not running Poison Sting, and that's probably going to cost me this game right here, because all of a sudden I'm going to be in farm down range. I do go ahead and throw up a shield here. It is going to be the Sludge Bomb. I'm like, I gotta get rid of this thing somehow. My Guzzlord doesn't have any HP. So I throw up the shield, hoping that somehow I make it to double Night Slash, or maybe I can pivot out and get a Brutal Swing off here, but they are just quick with their reactions. They throw their next Sludge Bomb right here, and that's just game. That's going to be a GG's well played to my opponent. I actually think that Mudshot Clodsire is a little bit interesting in this meta. Like, Poison Sting's not doing a lot into much besides the Zoom Roll. Maybe Mudshot's the play. I don't know. All right, into the next one, Greninja lead. So this was probably the most common lead that I saw on day 1, but I saw a lot more of them after I changed the team. I saw a couple with this team, and I saw a lot more after I changed the team. Also, I did see a lot more in my 5-0 set, and unfortunately, those battles got corrupted. So I didn't get to feature any of my 5-0 set, so this is from the 4-1 and the 2-3 that I had to pull battles from. Anyways, they come in with the really exciting Toxapex Mirror. I'm going to go ahead and bank energy and come in now with my Scizor. We're going to be walling all of the fast move pressure. Of course, Brine does hit for neutral, and it takes out more than half of my HP. It's supposed to do a little bit less than half, but we got a really bad Scizor. I end up playing to the CMP here. I should have gone double Night Slash and thrown 1 before CMP. Then I would have been able to actually take this out or threaten a shield. But I decided to go ahead and just let this go, knowing that they have a Greninja waiting for us. And I'm just looking for Guzzlord to be able to sweep at this point. They're going to be able to come in with Guzzlord, get the nice farm down here, give myself a little bit of an energy lead against whatever they have in the back. And it's going to be a Drapion. And this is exactly why you want Dragon Claw. If you're running Sludge Wave and Brutal Swing, then they're just walling your energy. And look how hard that Dragon Claw hits into Shadow Drapion. So they did build up to the Sludge Bomb here. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the shield. It is, of course, going to be the Crunch Bait. And they do get the attack, or defense drop rather. So I'm going to go ahead and just swap out to clear that. I should have thrown my Brine immediately. Forgot I had it, to be honest. But we should be in a fine spot here. Because out comes the Greninja. I throw this Dragon Claw in case I'm going to make it to 3. I realize I'm not going to make it to 3. So after this, I just go for the fast move pressure down. So they're going to be able to get to 2 moves here. What you don't want to do is shield the first one, because if they get the Night Slash and they boost, then Hydro Cannon will KO. They go for the Hydro Cannon. That's perfectly fine. We're going to just shield up the Night Slash here, and they're not going to be able to get off at 3rd move. So we do get the farm down, and we farm down the Drapion as well. Dragon Claw definitely coming in clutch right there, but yeah, Guzzlord just putting in a ton of work, as it's designed to do. Alright, into the next one, up against another Clodsire. This one, of course, running Poison Sting. This one we're going to play exactly the same as the first one. Go straight for the Trailblaze. I believe this is the Stone Edge variant, so I did want to include one just so you can see how that plays out as well. It's technically better, right? Because Stone Edge is more expensive than Sludge Bomb, but also they can just go straight Stone Edge. They don't need to try to run. They don't need to try to land the Quake. So we're going to CMP them on the second Stone Edge. Stone Edge is 7 to the first, 6 to the second. I'm going to go ahead and shield it up. I don't care that it's only Stone Edge. Maybe we survive. We're not going to survive it well. They come out now with the Zoom Roll. Yes, we have Trailblaze. I could fire that off and probably grab a shield. But if they no shield, that's just less farm for Toxapex. So instead, we're going to build up a ton of energy to help us with the end game, and then come in with Toxapex to just completely wall everything from this Zoom Roll. That's the great thing about Toxapex, right? We could just hard farm this down. I decided to throw a Brine, because I think if I throw the Brine, they're only going to make it to 1 more charge move, and if I don't throw it, they'll make it to 2 more. So I throw the Brine. They actually decided to swap out into Clodsire, but this Clodsire is in Brine range, and I have another one ready to go. So I just fire that off immediately, take out the Clodsire, not expecting the Zoom Roll to come back in, so we will see their final Pokemon. We're going to stay in just to see where we want to swap to. It's going to be a Malamar. Now this time, they're up a shield, so this is a little bit more sticky. I'm going to get this Crunch off. They actually decide to let this come through. They're in the red after the next Dragon Claw, but they've managed their energy well here, because they're going to go for the double superpower here. No, they go for the first superpower, and then they swap out into a Zoom Roll to clear the debuff. They make it to the Ice Beam, but Guzzlord wins CMP. My opponent is afraid that Brutal Swing would KO. I'm honestly not sure, right? It's not a great move. It's a 35 energy move, and it's resisted. But now I just come in with my Scizor. I forget that they have another move on their Malamar, so I throw this Trailblaze immediately. I should have CMP'd their Malamar. Or rather, I should have just farmed down the Zoom Roll and then won with Scizor, but it doesn't matter. We're going to be able to just Poison Jab this down. That's going to be GG's. Well played to my opponents. Yeah, I had a ton of fun with this team. It's a fun team. Toxapex is probably the least fun of the 3, but Shadow Scizor are a lot of fun. Guzzlord just so good once those fairies are gone. I didn't see a single fairy aligned on it besides the Primarina that I lost to. So yeah, so there's the proof of the 5-0. Yeah, I really enjoyed this team. I highly recommend it. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment down below if you're going to try this team out, or let me know what you're running. Are you even playing Halloween Cup? Are you playing Great League Remix? Are you just kind of peeking in to see what the Halloween Cup meta looks like? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my channel members for your support. And until next time, this is ChillisFM reminding you to always keep pushing forward.